I know I'm looking crazy. It's early in the morning. I woke up and this was on my mind, and I didn't want to forget my thoughts. So here I am, looking like a crazy woman. Y'all get to see my morning face. I know this is like super personal. I think I might even double think posting this video, maybe posting it later. But anyway, this morning, excuse my voice. I haven't even drank water or anything. Like this is on my mind. So this morning, I woke up. This was on my mind to share because so many people. I know. So many people have been wondering what's behind me sitting down, leaving the chair, retiring after 22 years, and from other lenses appearing to be in a really great place, professionally, in that arena, and so people are wondering like what is happening, like, Robin, why, and some of you have been um, bold enough to ask me, and haven't gotten very far with a response, not because I'm being secretive or I just, oh, I don't want to share and all of that. It's not that at all. I would love to share, but it's really important that you be careful, um, about saying too much too soon. And even with that, trying to explain um, things, people, everything that you process is not meant to be discussed, because you just have to be able to understand the person's thought process. You have to be able to understand their um, different dynamics, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and all of these things. There's so much you have to know, so much background you have to know in order to understand a decision such as this one. But at any rate, I didn't want to. I'm trying. I don't want to go off onto a tangent because I know I will. But the bottom line is that this was on my heart to say, to not to explain, but to encourage someone who is in this season of their life. Let me tell you. So I didn't leave, from behind the chair because I was just ecstatic to do so. Um, I actually loved everything about what I was doing at the time. Um, I was tired sometimes, but I loved, I mean, it came with its strains, but I loved the way people felt when they got out of my chair. I loved, I love so many things about it. I love the travel. I love the being engaged and involved and not sitting, because I'm the type of personality that likes to go, 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 go. And when I'm not going, sometimes I don't know what to do with that. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved the interactions. Um, I loved pouring into the people that were around me that wanted to be, near me or whatever. Loved working with cakes. This last 4 years, or however long we've been working together, and just loved it. You know what I mean? But this is what I wanted to leave with people who are transitioning out of a season or know that they should be transitioning out of a season. Um, is this: if you stay a place longer than you're supposed to, you will potentially end up in regret You will live with worry. You will live with disappointments of where you know, from what you could have been doing or what you should have been doing, and all of those things. You will end up hating something that you once loved, all because you didn't move or you didn't change when it was time to change. Um, it's important to make decisions when you're in sound mind and not when you're frazzled and overwhelmed. You should never get to a place of sadness and sorrow in a thing and then make a decision from that emotional state. When you do that, you make unsettled decisions and emotional decisions or saddened decisions. You know what I mean? From if you're worried, it's from a lens of worry, and so you make a decision based on that. If you're angry, you know, you are viewing things from an angry perspective, and so you make decisions based on your anger and not based on sound mind. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when you have a sound mind, you have sound judgment, you have sound intentions, you know, you're able to think and you're able to put things in perspective, and you're able to make a tough decision correctly without being mixed with emotion. I was not sad. I was not overwhelmed. I was actually on my way to Texas in a couple of weeks. And so I had to, because the change needed to happen when it happened, I had to figure out how to shut down a whole established chair in another state in 2 weeks, and a whole established, um, you know, station in Michigan, um, within the next 4 weeks. You're talking about tons of clients. My income is going to change. My relationships are going to change. I consider all of these things that were going to happen, but I've never been so sure about anything in my life. You know what I mean? Well, I have been, but this was something that I was just very sure about. Like, I knew that it needed to happen. And so if that's you, I want to encourage you that it's not going to be easy to leave something that you love and that you're passionate about, but it's best to leave it in a sound mind, you know. Um, and it's better to do that than to get stuck in a whole another season of doing something or staying someplace that you know you shouldn't be, you know. As much as you love it, you know, you just can't stay there. You can't stay there because once you get settled into a season, you don't get to switch um, as easily. You know, it's harder, you know, because then you have to do it from whatever emotional state that you're in at the time, and then you're not sure. Am I making the right decision? Am I, you know, or am I being hasty? Or, you know, it's all of these thought processes you have to go through, and then you have to deal with people's response and reaction to a decision that you made that may be good for you or maybe not good for you, but you're not sure. But then you have to deal with their unassurity with it. But when you're sound and when you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, nobody else needs to understand that. You know, you can try to help them understand it, but if you listen to the opinions of others, it will just keep you stagnated. And in order to be able to manage the opinions of others, you have to be sure about the decision that you're making. I hope that makes sense because I'm saying a lot. But that was on my mind and I wanted to share it. And yeah, so if that's you, you better make a move. You better do what God is calling you to do, you better walk in purpose. You better not get stuck where you are, because you'll plateau. You'll stay in a place that doesn't even want you anymore. That not want you, but doesn't need you anymore, or that you don't need. You know. So I'm glad I left at a time where I can love it and leave it, and not hate it and leave it. I never want to forget that season that I came from. I don't ever want to forget it. I love it. I was passionate about it, and I'm still passionate about what I did, but it's no longer for me, in this season of my life. And I'm completely comfortable with that. And I'm excited about that. Sometimes I'm nervous, but I'm not unsure. Sometimes I have a little fear, but I'm not unsure. And sometimes, you know, I feel anxious or excited or have a little detachment, from it in just one short week. But I'm not unsure. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, so I want to encourage somebody with that, because you know your time is up and you're afraid and you're fearful. You're not sure, but you're in sound mind. Do it while you're in sound mind. And if you're not in sound mind, get in sound mind. Keep doing what you're doing until you're sound, until you're, until you're good. And then make a decision, from that state of mind. Yeah, so off to church.